Let's talk about one of the most intense situations any driver can face, wrestling a fully loaded commercial truck down a steep mountain grade. It's a battle against gravity, and today we're breaking down exactly how you win it by staying in control.
So to get started, I'm going to put you right in the driver's seat. Picture this. You're at the very top, 80,000 pounds behind you, and you're looking down a long, steep ribbon of asphalt. The single most important decision of this entire descent. You're going to make it right now, before you even move an inch.
Here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll cover how to prepare for the grade itself. Then, we'll get into the right way to gear down and use your brakes. After that, we'll look at what to do when danger pops up out of nowhere. And finally, the absolute worst-case scenario. What happens when your brakes fail completely?
All right, first up, conquering the grade. You know, the real secret here is that the entire descent is won or lost before it even begins. It is all about preparation.
So what exactly is a safe speed? Well, it's not just some number you see on a road sign. You have to do the math in your head. You got to be thinking about how steep is this hill? How long does it go on for? What are the roads like? Are they wet, icy, and of course, how heavy are you? All 5 of these factors decide your speed.
Now, if you take away only one thing from this explainer, make it this. This is the golden rule of mountain driving. The gear you'd use to pull all that weight up the hill is the exact same gear you need to control it going down. Your engine is your best brake, and this rule makes sure you're using it right. And here is why you have to do it at the top. This is totally non-negotiable. If you wait, if you start rolling and picking up speed and then try to downshift, you might just miss the gear. And if that happens, poof. Your engine braking is gone. The single most important tool you have just vanished when you need it most.
Okay, so you've done your homework, you're in the right gear before you start to roll. Now let's get into part 2, using your brakes the smart way. The whole idea here is to save your brakes for when you really need them, not to rely on them for the whole trip down.
And to do that, you have to understand the enemy. And the enemy on any long downgrade is this term, brake fade. This is what happens when you use your brakes too much. They get incredibly hot. And when they get hot, they just stop working as well. They fade out. And if it gets bad enough, they'll fail you completely. Every technique we're talking about is designed to prevent this from happening. So this is the technique you need to master. You apply the brakes firmly with real pressure until your speed drops about 5 miles per hour below your target safe speed. And then, and this is the key part, you get your foot completely off the pedal. Let them cool. When gravity pulls you back up to your safe speed, you do it again. It's a pulse, not a constant press.
So let's just put these two side by side, because the difference is literally night and day. On one side, you've got controlled, pulsed braking. Your brakes stay cool, you stay in control, and you get to the bottom safely. On the other side, you have riding the brakes, just keeping your foot on them. That creates a ton of heat, which leads directly to brake fade, and that is a one-way ticket to potential brake failure.
Okay, but what happens when something unexpected just appears out of nowhere? A stalled car in your lane, a deer, you name it. Sometimes, no matter how well you've controlled your speed, stopping just isn't in the cards. You have to react, and you have to do it instantly. You know, your preparation for an emergency doesn't start during the emergency. It starts way before. The absolute best way to be ready to make a sudden, controlled turn is to already have both hands firmly on the wheel. Always. It's really that simple.
When you realize you can't stop in time, you have to steer. And that first move has to be fast and decisive. There's no time to think about it, you just have to turn the wheel and get your truck out of the path of that hazard.
But just turning away is only half the move. The second you've cleared that obstacle, you have to whip the wheel back in the other direction just as sharply. That's the countersteer. It's what stops you from overcorrecting and sending 80,000 pounds into the other lane or off the side of the mountain.
And here's the most critical part. This is not two separate things. You have to think of the steer-countersteer as one single fluid motion. It's like a whip crack. It's one reflex, and it's all that keeps the truck stable and pointing where you want it to go.
And now, we've arrived at the scenario every driver dreads, the absolute worst case. You've done everything right, but something has failed. You push the brake pedal to the floor, and nothing happens. You are now officially in a runaway truck.
Yeah, this quote from the manual is chilling, because it's true. Brake failure often isn't like flipping a light switch. It can be a rapid, terrifying fade where what in the braking power you had left just evaporates into thin air. You are gaining speed and you have no way to stop it.
At this point, your whole mindset has to shift. This isn't about a smooth ride anymore, it's about pure survival. Your first instinct has to be to downshift. Try to get into any lower gear you can to get that engine screaming and slowing you down. At the same time, you're yanking on that parking brake. And while all that's happening, your eyes are frantically scanning for anywhere to go. An open field, an uphill side road, anything to get off the main grade.
Now, the best possible place you could be looking for is one of these, an escape ramp. These things are literally lifesavers, built for this one terrifying purpose. It's a long uphill ramp filled with deep, soft gravel or sand, and it's designed to just swallow your truck and bring it to a safe, if abrupt, stop. If you see a sign for one, you aim for it, no questions asked.
And that really brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? As we've seen, what happens in that moment of absolute crisis is almost completely decided by the preparations you made back when everything was calm. The real emergency isn't just the brakes failing, it's a failure to prepare. So the real question is, are you ready? At the top of the hill, long before things go wrong?